back to Star Trek Next Frontier. This is episode 2 of season 2, titled Out of Place. We're returning from our first commercial break. As you can see today, we've had a little bit of issues, and we only have 3 members joining us today, but that's enough, including the welcome return of our great friend, not just good friend, but our great friend, Lieutenant Darius Alder. Welcome back to Next Frontier. We've missed you. Yeah, that deserves some applause.
Thank you. It's good to be back, everyone.
Well, welcome back. So we're going to jump right into the episode, see what's going on. Lieutenant Drake, as always, yes. You also, just like Major doubled as Loxana Troy and the voice of the computer, you are going to double as our previously on Star Trek voiceover. So take it away.
Okay, well, previously on Star Trek, we were finally out of the hellhole that Bill had put us in, limping our way back to Naranda Station, everyone feeling a little down, a little out of place, and generally not the best condition, both in mind, spirit, and the ship as well. However, whilst returning back to Naranda Station, we pick up a emergency beacon, to which we decide, from a Zilzik ship in particular, and decide to go and help. Upon reaching the area where the signal is coming from, we find that there's a very unusual situation. As we know, the whole Shackleton Expanse is filled with weird distortion fields, but this area in particular has a much greater density of distortion. Within quite an unusual specific area of about 1 light year in diameter, whichever, about a light year in size, to which is filled with asteroids, planetary bodies, all confined within this area. So, being the helpful people that we are, we decide to head in and try and locate this beacon. Whilst traveling through, it starts to mess with a lot of our systems, such as communications, and we're scanning as we go and find that some of these asteroids and planetary bodies have things that they shouldn't have. Specifically atmospheres, which is weird. We have a scan, and we also find they have life. They have a biome on these asteroids and planetary bodies, which is interesting to say the least, so we continue looking. After a while, we find roughly where the beacon's coming from, and we find an asteroid that not only has life, but also has artificial materials on. So, knowing that we can't beam down, we take the Sato, myself, Lieutenant James, as well as our good Dr. Blue, who's not here today, as well as a couple of NPCs to try and find out what's going on the asteroid. We land, find the ship of the Zilzik, and are quite surprised to find that the Zilzik in particular who has crashed here is the Prime Scholar, Huzon Susan, I believe was the name.
Close enough.
And close enough. It's a lot close enough, so it's close enough. Yeah. So apparently she's been here for a while, and after having a chat with her, we realize a couple of interesting activities that have occurred. In particular, the asteroids don't stay in place. She seems to mention that the sky changes every now and then, and of a particular note that when she tried to leave this asteroid originally, she couldn't. She didn't crash here. She tried to take off and got smashed back down, which is a little bit of concern for us. So we launched a probe to let the deGrasse Tyson know, found everything seems fine at the moment, we're going to be leaving soon. So we launch the probe, and the probe disappears, as does the sky, the stars, the moon, everything changes. And once again, we find ourselves in a difficult situation where we don't know where we are anymore, because keep in mind, a light year in diameter, in height as well, that's a big area filled with thousands and thousands and millions of little asteroids. So this is going to be a fun game of hide and seek crossed with those street shows you see where they hide the ball under the cup. Which asteroid are we on? Who knows?
Nobody
And that's what we
knows.
have.
Very good. I think that was a very good recap. Liz, as you were here in the previous session, is there anything else of note that you think should be mentioned?
The only thing I can think of note was a small little ceremony that took place with Locke and Drake, where
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Drake became a full lieutenant and no longer lieutenant junior grade.
Ooh,
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, we got
Thank
a
you. I had to
promotion.
let a Klingon beat me up for it though, so
Yeah.
bittersweet.
But what a scene
You
it
got a
was.
good hit in first, though, to be fair.
I
Yeah.
did. I let him win. Let the Klingon pride, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you did win the first. You won the first fall. There you go. There you go. And then he did not let you win the next one. He did not.
He was not happy with that.
But you got your pip, so you're fine. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. The other thing that raised suspicions from the crew when found out that the sky changes that discovered and the ship slammed back down. Again, Kisan Sosan, the Prime Scholar, was stuck there for quite a number of months. So she's been living there for quite a while, as compared to her very original visit to the asteroid, where she just landed to investigate what these strange organic life signs were on this thing, found all these weird animals and trees, cataloged it, went to take off, and then, as David said, slammed back down. But she does mention that the animals that they see around them and the plant life they see around them now, she said it's not the same one that she landed on. So when she tried to take off and she slammed back down, she found herself amongst a different biome with different creatures and animals on it. But again, that was many, many months ago, and she's been living that lifestyle ever since, just surviving. And let's pick
Which
up.
means
Which
that
means
fish I scanned at the start when we first landed will be a different fish altogether now.
Well, you'll have to
Or
find
not
out.
a fish.
You'll have
We'll
to
see.
find out. You'll have to find out when we return. So one more thing I'm going to just remind everyone of, as we are starting here with a smaller than usual crew. As David mentioned, on the asteroid, they brought along a couple no names that are ripe for being a supporting character. So, Terrence, if you want to jump into or create any specific supporting character on the asteroid to play and role play as that character when we go to the asteroid scenes, as usual, per supporting character rules, if there isn't one already available, you could create a character on the spot, and you could have them be pretty much the kind of specialist you need for that moment, because you're deciding, like, oh, if only we had this guy here. Hey, we do. There he is. And same thing for David and Liz when we are on the DeGrasse Tyson, since there are no other main characters on the ship there. Feel free to take over any of the usual supporting characters or create your own to interact with Lieutenant Alder, who is still on the ship. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
Everyone okay? So we will dive into our first scene, and I am going to start on the Bridgie with Lieutenant Alder. How's that?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Sounds good. So let me try to change the size of it so it's not gigantic in the window there. Okay, so on the bridge, Alder, you are up from engineering and operating the science station on the bridge, even though mainly you are pretty much the chief engineer these days now that Velik is gone and Lieutenant James is in a coma. Let's not talk about the hologram. But also Lieutenant Weber did not return from the alternate universe. But again, par for the course for him because he keeps vanishing with whatever's going on with his Bajoran shrine that still has yet to be resolved. So everyone's kind of wondering if he's returning, when he's returning, how he's returning. So they're kind of relying on you to be the default science officer as well as the engineering officer. So basically, like the chief of operations that you were, you're head of both departments yet again. So you're on the bridge and you see basically what just happened. You're scanning your instruments there, and you catch a signal, like a Starfleet signal, typically from a beacon or a probe that's being launched. You catch that, and then instantly it is met with huge amounts of interference. The signal is cut, and simultaneously out the viewport, with Locke's reaction too, you notice the entirety of the asteroid changes completely. Like in the blink of an eye, just one massive asteroid you're watching, and then the next second, as if somebody just did a jump cut in a film, it's a completely different asteroid, much smaller, but in relatively the same position the last one was in.
Okay, so I think if I can actually request some NPCs, like I'd love to know who's actually on the helm currently.
Currently, Voomvi is in control of the helm.
Voomvi, okay.
Was Voomvi an ensign? Is she an ensign? David, do you remember? You're muted, David, so I can't hear you.
I think she might have been.
Okay.
She is. I have a thing open.
Okay.
She's a ensign.
Ensign Voomvi. Yes, she's at the helm.
Okay, so we've got Ensign Voomvi, Lulk, and I don't think anyone else
Nobody claimed yet. Nobody claimed yet, so anyone could be there that you need.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with what we got. Look, I'm immediately turning to Commander Lulk here and like raising an eyebrow, and saying to him, Commander, there's a total different series of asteroids out there, and I cannot seem to find that signal from what I would assume was a probe that was shot up to us.
Locke seems very, very concerned by this. He asks you if you got anything from the signal. Was there any message sent inside of the probe or inside of the signal, or is there any trace of what happened with the probe?
Am I able to actually roll or investigate to see actually what did I receive anything? Anything of use from that like split second of the probe that we detected?
Sure, you could do that. Typically, this would be a difficulty 0 for this kind of task. However, with the subspace disturbances, that bumps it up to 3. But also degrassitizing knocks it down to 2. So basically it's a difficulty 2 task, I could have said, but just for the sake of clarity, letting everyone know the subspace disturbances is a level 3. So you could do a control and science as usual, as a standard for checking the data that you got.
Oh, you see, this would be a nice way for me to get back in, because I see roll 20 seems to have changed since I last used it.
Yeah. And it's buggy now, so get ready for that.
Okay, so you guys are going to have to actually walk me through my first roll so that I can actually figure out where the hell I'm supposed to be clicking in it.
Okay. So you'll want to click the attribute and the department that you're going to roll. So you'll click to highlight your control, and you'll click your science.
Okay, step 1. How am I opening that up to see my actual attributes in roll 20?
You go to the journal tab. The journal tab that's on the side.
Okay.
And then you'll find Alder, and then you could double click him. You could also do like the upper left icon, click that to keep your character sheet in a separate window. So you could use it anytime.
Oh, yes, good idea. Okay, so then let's see. So you said control and
science.
Science highlighted. We've got complication range of 2.
Complication range right now is 1. Just the difficulty is 2, so you'll need 2 successes. So task roll of 2, and unless you have any kind of well, I think with your focuses, I don't think there's anything that
Oh,
necessarily
yeah.
applies. And it's been a while since I seen your talents, but cautious science would be if you used momentum for an extra die. I think the other things won't help you for this roll.
I think for now I'm just going to take as is, see if the rolling gods help me.
Okay, so you need two
Okay.
successes.
And DeGrasse Tyson would be sensor science.
And DeGrasse Tyson would also be sensors and science, yes. I hear whooping. Well, look at that. 4 successes total. Isn't that something? That's beautiful. So you got your 2
nice.
and you gained two things back, which means you are now at 4 momentum because we have 1 left over from the last session. All right, so with that massive roll, going through and just checking the data that you have, and plus just how proficient you are at doing it, he left us immediately. I guess he just couldn't stand the pressure for it. No, in case anybody is watching this later, he did express that his not Roll20, was it Zoom, has been acting up. So the tension of what he discovered, we will never know. But it's a good time to remind you that there is 9 threat on the board that's carrying over from the last session. You're now at 4 momentum. And also, the probe you sent up, you just sent a regular unmanned probe, right? And well, of course, unmanned, but like just a regular data probe, right, to scan,
Yep.
correct? Yeah, just
Correct.
want to make sure there wasn't anything I was forgetting. But we'll
No, it was
We
just
were
a
planning
test,
on
I think.
using it, like, yeah, to see if we can use it as a relay with them.
Yeah, that's I remembered something vaguely like that. While we are waiting for him, because who knows, it might take another moment or two, we could jump over to you all on the asteroid real quick. Yeah, you see the probe basically rocket out the top of the shuttlecraft at the end of the last session. It fires up, and almost immediately it's just gone. But as soon as it disappears, also you realize the position of the stars and the asteroids and everything in the sky also changed instantly too. It's like you were looking through one of those like what you call those little viewers that they have, the little theater things you put in and you go click and it goes to the next slide. It was like you're looking at that and somebody clicked it and suddenly you have a new sky and the probe is gone too.
It's going to annoy me that I can't remember what those are called now. Thanks, Bill. But yeah, that's not a Drake's looking up and goes, not again.
I think James was pretty much like almost ready to go slap on the probe button again. But at the last second, I think she stops. I can't remember who we had as an NPC engineer. Was it John Doe?
John Doe security, and John Doe has to talk in death quotes.
Yeah, John Doe was. I think Chris was doing John Doe in security.
Well, we had an engineer, I thought, who joined us.
I believe there was an engineer, but I'm not sure if we stated who they were yet.
It was just random. Okay. What I would like to do is have our red shirt in the yellow shirt head over to the other shuttle and access the sensors again.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like them to do is focus the sensors on the ground, not just where we are, but the ground off into the distance. And I'm going to put our shuttle sensors more towards sort of 20 foot and higher, scanning 20 foot and higher.
Mm-hmm.
To see if there's, when we fire the next probe, whether there's any power spikes, anything abnormal basically that could be on this asteroid that could be triggering this change.
Okay.
Or, basically if there's anything on this planet, on this asteroid rather, that's happening that is out of the norm.
Okay.
So I want the other shuttle so that it's literally just focusing down and ours focusing up.
Okay.
And once we're in place, I will push the big red button and fire another not torpedo, probe.
Okay. So the nameless person will run over to do that. Meanwhile, Terry, can you hear us?
I think so.
Okay. So then the results you got, yes, you got some good data coming back through that it was basically just a transmission probe from the Sato, the shuttle that went down, typically used for relay purposes, for communication. Pretty much as soon as it appeared on your sensors, that's when it gets cut off. But you do have a lot of momentum, so you could do like obtain information spends to try to investigate more and pull some more detail out of there. But what you do know right now is it was a relay probe fired from the Sato. No message contained in it, but it was meant to relay messages.
Okay. So we're currently with my scene still there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, look, obviously, I think I'm going to try and use some momentum here to actually try and investigate further to see if I can get anything useful at all from that, even if it's the tiniest bit of data, because obviously we need to now track down. Well, I'm assuming, I think, okay, first of all, let me actually talk to Lolk here and say, Commander, do we have any idea how we are going to find them? Are they in a different universe? Are they have they just been shifted in time? Have they shifted in space? Like, how should we proceed?
That's a very good question, Lieutenant. Is there any trace of them on this new asteroid? Is it the same asteroid but the shape changed? Similar to how the Gene could change the structure of their vessels to conceal what they really were?
Bill, I'm assuming obviously I've done a quick scan.
With all the momentum, with all the momentum you have, you could use that as part, instead of doing more scans, you could use for obtain information. Because like you would just have a scan of the whole thing to take on.
Yeah, let's say I'm going to use a momentum there to sort of obtain more info on the sort of layout of asteroids ahead of us. Like, how are they similar at all as the biomes that we detected on them? As they changed, like that sort of thing. Like, so I can get a general picture of what's actually out there on the view screen now in front of us.
Okay. We'll just use one momentum for that. Basically, the smaller asteroid that is now in front of you, you scan. This one does not have any life signs on it. This one is coming up as empty. There's no breathable atmosphere on this one. You're not detecting any of the plant life or animal life that you got on the original asteroid, as well as many others on the way in. But what you are detecting are fragmentary traces of different types of metals and alloys that all match up with the composition of a Starfleet probe.
Okay. Commander, I have an idea that the probe they shot a probe off, I'm assuming in the hopes to communicate with us. And that something with the layout of these asteroids has changed. The exact reason I'm not too sure of just yet, but it seems that I can detect the remnants of the probe they shot. So how that was exactly destroyed, whether it was the actual physical space that shifted somehow and this probe was then destroyed due to maybe actually appearing in the middle of an asteroid or so. That's my best layman's guess just yet, but that's what I can see from here.
So, if the entire asteroid has changed places with this one that is now before us, does that mean the asteroid with our crew is where this one originally came from?
It could very well be. I have no idea just how far they may have been transported as such. But we will have to somehow track them down. I mean, if they were able to communicate with us, they would surely have done so by now, I'd assume.
Agreed. Well, Lieutenant, I feel that this is going to be right up your alley. You might want to start coming up with some ideas on how we might be able to find where their new location is.
Okay, Commander. I'll try and get to work with it. Obviously, I might need to make use of my good friend I used to work with downstairs in the science department. If I could just find his name in my notes from back in the day.
Oh, yes, Talar, correct?
Yes. Talar is always a dependable figure in times of need, so I'm sure he'll be able to help me now as well to come up with some ideas of how we can exactly track down our missing shuttle and crew.
Good idea, Lieutenant, and any resources you need are yours. We need to find our crew and get out of here.
We'll do so. And then, Bull, I think for that, I'm going to hand over my station to one of the other ensigns there, and I'm going to head down to the science lab.
Okay. All right, so we'll have Alder heading off into the science lab, and you could either start thinking of possible like strategies to use, or in your next scene, it could be trying to find whatever strategy is going to work for you. How's that?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, then. Switching over to the asteroid surface. Okay, where we left off again after firing the probe, you were sending off. Oh yeah, we did have Fox on there too. That's right, Fox was the other one. So we did have another engineer on there.
Yeah, I knew there was.
There
It's
we
just
are.
I didn't know
That's
who it
who
was.
It was. How
He's
you
the
forget
rando.
Fox? How you forget Fox? So you sent Fox over to the Zilzik ship, and you're still staying on your vessel, right? David, what are you doing at the time?
So when Fox runs over, I was stood outside, so I heard James tell him to head over to the other ship and set the sensors to monitor the surrounding area. I also asked him to try and take whilst setting up the scanners to obviously monitor the entire area, try and get a scan of the area so that we have a map of sorts of the area, so that if we do jump again, we'll know if everything jumps together or if anything changes beyond. Given her story of trying to take off on one and crashing on another, I'd like to make sure that the whole thing's moving and we're not going to be half swapping somewhere else. And so I've tell him that, and then whilst James is preparing the next probe, I am going to ask her to add a little message to the probe, if possible, explaining that we're going to, also to scan to see if we can detect any of the probe, if the probe's still up there on our end, because we don't know, and also to add the message saying that we're going to send up another probe and see if this probe will cause us to jump again. If it does, we will launch another probe, and that will hopefully give them some points to try and see if there's some sort of pattern using our locations. If the probe doesn't cause us to swap places, we will see if we can try and leave, or we'll come up with a new plan then. But just to add the message to tell them that we're going to be sending this probe to see if it causes us to jump, and if it does, we'll launch another one, and then we'll wait until we naturally swap places again.
It
Is my plan.
might also, now that I think about it, not be a bad idea if we have EV suits at least at the ready.
I think we should be on the ships, yes, with the doors
We-
closed when we launched.
We may not necessarily guarantee going on to an asteroid with an atmosphere.
Hopefully we're on the same asteroid, but yeah. Oh, you mean if we take off and crash? Yeah, very, yeah.
Well, even with the probes, everything seems to change.
Still the same area surrounding us, right?
Yes.
Oh, looks to be, yeah. So whilst we're sat here, I don't think it changes, but if we try and take off, we might swap, which, yeah, we don't want a dead one. So yeah, that's what Drake is doing. He's just gonna ask that message, and then I guess I'll just carry on chatting with the Zildic lady to try and find out if she has any more information for us and how often she felt like she swapped places.
Okay. So which part shall we focus on first? You want to do your interview with her first while that's happening in the background?
I think the conversation is just a conversation in the background. We can come to that while after or just before James launches the probe.
Okay. James, how about you?
I will organize all of the message and whatnot. And when Fox is ready and our scanners are all set and synced and everything like that, and everyone's either we've got the door shut on the shuttle, or people who want to be in EV suits are in EV suits, I'll fire off the probe.
Okay. Also, Terry, would you like to control Fox when any roles come up? Would you like to play as Fox on the shuttle, or not shuttle, asteroid?
I mean, who wouldn't? Of
That's
course,
true.
I'll jump into Fox's shoes there.
Okay. All right. So we could just say, for the most part, the prep is easy enough to get done. You don't really have to worry about making any specific dice rolls or any kind of task for that because it's a very straightforward, simple thing that you are doing. So just to make this clear, you're all getting into your EV suits, correct?
Getting into the shuttles.
Into the
and
shuttles.
closing the doors.
Who's in which shuttles?
We'll say the main people are on our shuttle and the other crew / disposables on the broken one.
Okay. And where are you keeping Huisan Sosan?
She can stay with us. She was stood with us when we were chatting, so it makes sense she just steps onto our ship rather than walking back over to hers.
All right, so everyone gets on the shuttles, closes the doors, and so just to go through again, the other shuttle, they are going to be scanning the ground, correct, Liz?
Yeah, the ground up to about 20 feet, as far away as the scanners will accurately scan.
Mm-hmm.
And ours will be 20 foot and above for as far as the scanners will accurately scan.
Okay. And that's the thing. Okay, so then yeah, we'll just do that. When you're ready, launch.
All right. Did you want a roll of some sort?
Nope, you're just firing a probe again. You don't. The little message that Drake was talking about, that's easy enough. That routine, you don't have to roll for any of that. So no need to roll if you don't want to, because it's basically difficulty 0 anyhow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. You ready?
And pew, off it goes.
Okay. Same thing as you're looking through the viewport of the shuttle. You feel the whole shuttle rock as the probe goes off because you're on the planet, and then the entire sky is different again.
What about? Well, first of all, did the scanners on either shuttle come up with anything? Any power spikes? Any differences, any atmospheric changes, any
Well,
anything?
on your shuttle scanning the sky, basically scanning above you and everything. The only thing you detect different is, for one brief instance, there was a probe, and after that, there was nothing. Everything else above you, the composition in the air, the little birdie that was flying by at the same time, all of that still remained the same.
All right. So mountain ranges and anything like that, there were no power spikes, no nothing that
Not
piqued
that you
interest.
detected from scanning up. However, on the
Okay.
other ship with Fox, you're monitoring the instruments there. You detect at the same instance that everything changes. You detect a odd spike of radiation emanating from deep inside the asteroid.
Ooh.
Ah.
I'm going to use a momentum to obtain more info on that,
Okay,
if at all possible.
sure. Is there anything specific you want to ask about it, or do you just want some general info dump on it?
Give me a general info dump to start with, I think.
Okay, it's a very intense and somewhat unique type of radiation that is most assuredly not naturally occurring, and it just kind of swelled for a moment right when the probe was launched, and as soon as the sky changed, it disappeared immediately.
Ooh, sure. That I'm going to be immediately communicating to James.
Okay. That information is coming over to you in the Sato, to all of you. You got it on the comms from Fox.
How deep is the radiation?
It
Go ahead,
Oh,
Fox.
sorry, Bob. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, from what I gained is I think this is deep within the planet's core, and it fired up as soon as that probe went off. And from what I can tell, it's not natural. It's like rather strange, but it must be connected to this issue.
We didn't get a depth on it at all.
I think, Bull, from your thing, you told me it's in the center of the planet, right?
It came deep up from the center, so basically,
Deep.
as far down as you were monitoring, it was coming from beyond that.
I would say, James, that it's got to be coming from somewhere in the center of the planet almost, because this is like way further than I was actually monitoring at that point. So yeah, I can just imagine it's coming from the core of the planet, or as deep down as you can go.
Now,
go ahead.
What sort of radiation was it? Could it have been a power supply kind of radiation, or you said it wasn't natural, or could it be the device causing? I wonder. No, that's irrelevant. Probably is causing the subspace stuff, but
yeah,
was it?
I would, Sir James, I would say, I mean, it's obviously connected to this, and I mean, it's the reading is rather unique. I mean, I would definitely say all the info we captured on this, we should have like a little bit of an in-depth look at, just to see like what is this radiation, and like obviously, I'd love to figure out like exactly why is it reacting to this probe? Like anything that seems to be trying to get off this asteroid seems to be causing like a shift in space from, what we can see. So I definitely think it's worth looking at.
For sure.
Can we ask what the radiation type was? Is it something we recognize? If that needs a momentum.
I would say you don't need momentum for that. Fox, you're still the only one with that data there. It's definitely not any kind of standard type of radiation. It's something that it feels like it is. I think the best way to explain it would be it's based in subspace. So it's not the type of radiation that you would get in naturally occurring sources in regular space. So whatever this radiation is, it's either coming from subspace or it is being basically stored inside of subspace. So that's why you wouldn't be able to detect it until it pretty much releases, because otherwise it would probably just be transporting you constantly.
So I think it definitely. Sorry, James, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is there any indication as to what the trigger is? As in, so we scanned, our shuttle scanned upwards. Was there any kind of on cliff faces or mountaintops or anything like that, any kind of sensor or anything like that that might be detecting anything that tries to leave? Because clearly there's something at a certain point, at a certain height, that triggers whatever that is, the radiation is, that then means we move. But there's got to be a trigger that activates whatever it is down there. Because if we can work out what that trigger is, potentially we can get back to where we were, where the deGrasse Tyson is. Then we can work out how.
I'm wondering, Bull.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need momentum for this or not, but the height of the probe we sent off now and the probe we originally sent off, did this shift occur at the same point? If the same height, could I put it like that? Like, if you understand what I mean, like when the probe reached a certain height, did it trigger, or?
I'd say without momentum, yeah, you could say in this case both probes disappeared at pretty much the same instance.
Okay.
See, so there has to be a trigger of some sort. Whether it's when it leaves, like that's the point of the atmosphere and it starts to leave, whether somehow that's the trigger, or whether there's something up there or around there that. Because it doesn't trigger when we land. When we landed, we saw the shuttle, we landed near the shuttle, we walked to the shuttle. It's only when you leave.
Then shall we prepare another probe? Hopefully we have quite a few. This time load on the information we got from the scans this time with a message saying every time we launch a probe we jump, so we're about to jump again, follow the breadcrumbs. And then this time focus the sensors on the probe so that we can check whether or not anything is scanning the probe or if there's any change with the probe before when it's leaving. And the other to focus as deep down as we can get to see if we can try and identify a bit more about the radiation and where it's coming from.
Having had a brief look at the Zilzik ship, which shuttle would have the better sensors, if at all any difference?
I would say that the Starfleet shuttle is more equipped as a science type vessel than this more civilian transport. So the Sato would be probably have the more sensitive sensors.
I would suggest then to Drake that we have the Sato scan down as it would have the better sensors for going deeper and getting more information on whatever that is down there.
Sounds like a good plan. It's better to see because we know roughly what's happening up. It's down. We're more interested at the moment, so let's go with that.
All right. So once all that's set, and the Zilzik people in the Zilzik shuttle are ready, we'll fire off another probe.
Okay. All right. So pretty much everything's going to be the same except the difference of where you're focusing your scan. This time for the Sato, I'm going to require a sensors roll on that. It's going to be difficulty 1.
Okay.
I have the Sato open.
Control science.
But complication range of 2.
Control science for me.
Yes, and with the Sato, Terry, you won't have to make a roll for you because you're just scanning the sky above, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, we got 2, which means you get 1 momentum back. There we go. Actually, you know what? You should also have 1 more momentum because I forgot, Alder, you're still, as your character sheet is, you still have the ability that you get 1 free momentum as Alder when you do obtain information. So that one we spent on the ship should not have been spent. You get a free bonus 1 for that. So you actually should have 1 more for that. And let's see, Drake, what did you roll?
I tried to roll for the Sato, and I'm
2
guessing
again?
we'll still go. It did 2
Yeah.
again. I don't know why it does it with me.
Yeah. We're still
So we're going with the left one,
yeah,
right?
so nothing extra there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's another glitch that Roll20 has now, Terry. That sometimes when you try roll 1 die, it insists on rolling 2 no matter what. So, oh well, there we go. But anyhow, that's a 0.
The more the merrier.
All right. So again, you fire the probe. You got the message in there. Fire the probe. Everything rocks. What's it called? Fox, you detect pretty much the sky changes exactly when, pretty much the same exact point when the probe goes up as the previous 2. Meanwhile, back on the Sato, scanning down as deep as you can, you do, again, simultaneously, when the probe disappears, the sky changes. At that moment, or I should say like a picosecond before that, this burst of this odd radiation appears. It just kind of permeates everything on the asteroid for just this briefest instant, and then the moment everything changes, this flare-up disappears and it's gone. But you detect, definitely it's coming from deep within the core of this asteroid. Probably the strongest source for it, without having like any way of pinpointing down, would probably be about 1 kilometer down.
Does the levels of radiation, are they consistent with what we scanned, what we retrieved previously? Or is there a dip or increase?
Fox, did you transmit everything over?
Yes, I did.
All right, so comparing the data from what you got from the Zilzik ship and what you just got from there, yes, it's identical.
Okay. I was hoping it would decrease and we can just launch a bunch of probes until it runs out, but never mind.
I was wondering, I'm not sure the range of the transport on these shuttles. Like, I was wondering if it was possible to like actually transport a rock of similar size to a probe outside the atmosphere of the asteroid and see if that triggers the shift as well, or if you have to actually move through that barrier, if I could put it that way.
I actually thought of that as well. I like that idea.
Great minds think alike. I think Are our transporters strong enough? Well, do they have enough range to be able to do that, Bull?
Yeah, you should be able to transport a rock or anything out there. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
well,
just-
I think, yeah, I think James, go ahead.
I was just going to say the only problem will be is that we had problems from the DeGrasse Tyson, which is why we ended up taking a shuttle, because we couldn't get transporters to work down here. But if we're only going from down here to just outside the atmosphere, it probably should be fine.
Yeah, I say we give it a shot then. I think it's worth looking at.
All right, I run on out, go grab a rock, stick it on the transporter pad,
Okay.
and beam it on up.
Okay. How far up are you beaming it? Try and be outside the atmosphere.
First of all, past where the probes were disappearing. So we've sent up something like 3 or 4 probes now. We would know roughly what height it is that they are vanishing from our sight. So let's say another 5 foot above that, and then having it, but not directly over us, obviously. We don't want a rock just dropping straight down on us. So, let's say, I don't know, 100 feet to the north of our position, assuming the Zulzik shuttle is not north of us. I forget where that is. In the opposite direction to the shuttle, so that we're not going to drop it on anyone if it returns.
Okay. Okay, yeah. You don't even really need to do a roll for this, because no concerns about safety or anything involved here and keeping anyone alive. So you run out, grab a rock, throw it on the pad. You activate the transporter. You get the nice little sound effect. It disappears, and then even if you're looking out the viewport, you see a little flash of light in the sky, and then just a small dark shadow coming down from the sky in the distance. And if you're listening very closely, you hear a flock of birds fly up in the distance. Go.
Greg just looking and hoping we didn't crush one of those cute little creatures that we saw earlier.
No fish. All right. I'm going out, grabbing another rock, probably a handful of rocks at this point in time. One rock at a time, so just one rock, and I'm going to transport it at the level the probes disappeared at.
Okay.
To which we should still be scanning everything that's happening, so we can get the levels.
Okay.
Yep.
Same distance?
Yes, so at the exact distance that the probes vanished.
No, I mean like same distance away, right?
Yes.
Or straight up over
Yes.
your face as you're staring, gaping mouth into the sky.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Should I move? Okay. Yeah, you put that there on teleport. You go up to about the level where the probes disappeared. Was still before it broke the atmosphere. And again, you see the tiny shadow come plummeting back down.
I've got a weird idea, and I don't know if this is going to work. But I'm going to repeat that. But this time, I'm going to give the rock momentum. So just as we transport, I'm going to have someone holding the rock, but the transporter's locked in the rock, and throwing the rock upwards. So it's appearing at the same height as the probe, but it has momentum.
Okay. So just
upward momentum.
So you're having somebody chuck it up into the sky.
Well, they're chucking it up on the transporter pad, kind of. They're standing right next to the transporter pad, throwing the rock up at the roof of the pad.
Okay.
As we transport.
Okay.
So, hopefully, in theory, transporting it before it hits the roof.
Okay, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So this time I am calling for a roll.
God damn it!
This time I'm definitely calling for a roll. Okay.
I'm gonna break this shit. with
Yeah.
a rock.
Who's going to do this?
Well, seeing as
please
it's
let
a
me try.
physical activity, should be me, and we know how I roll.
There we go. All right. So
I'll be doing the transporter, I guess.
okay, and he's going to throw a rock up as hard as he can. Okay, and you're going to try to catch it in stream teleport. I love this idea. I love it. This is beautiful. Okay. Meanwhile, Fox is over on the other ship. Like, what's going on? What are they doing? Where, like, what's
In the
happening?
We're
distance, they
relaying
hear
what's
it
happening.
thud, thud.
Look out the window. She comes running
know.
out, picking up more rocks. What the hell is happening in there? Okay. Well then, Drake. Okay. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So, this is quite an interesting problem. So, it's going to be transport roll. So, control plus engineering. Okay.
Yep.
Drake, I think you're going to be assisting this roll. Maybe would that be the best way to do it?
Depends how you want to do this. Do you want me throwing the rock as a roll?
Well,
on its
yeah, you're
own?
technically throwing the rock, but you gotta make sure you're throwing it correctly. So, okay.
However you want to do this, Bill. I'm having
I've
fun
never
right
seen this on Star Trek, so I'm trying my best to figure out how this.
now.
They've done mid warp transports. I mean, it's surely a moving rock isn't.
I just want you
Like-
to visualize how small a shuttle is and how small a shuttle's transporter
I
is,
know.
and you standing in there and somebody trying to throw a rock as hard as they can, like at a basically camper van's roof, while you're trying to catch it in mid throw, teleport it. So I'm trying to visualize what could go
Well,
wrong.
Drake's gonna be squat down with his
Okay.
hand, like the rock's on the floor. He's squat down. He's gonna
Okay.
go like that.
Okay, there we go. So
See, secretly, this is actually Lolk's revenge. I'm actually videotaping Drake holding the rock and throwing.
this
But
feels
when-
like something that would be on the Star Trek TikTok somewhere, and it's just some fad that's catching on. Okay,
This is such a Lower Decks episode.
it is. Let's see. Since you're doing that, Terry, could you roll for the Sato, the stats on the Sato's transporter?
Let's open that up then.
Okay, so all right, control and engineering for James. Basically fitness and security for Drake with your support. So only one die. Wait! It wasn't done yet.
Sorry.
Wasn't done yet. Okay. Let's see. Sato, of course, is rolling for what's it called with the transporters? That's sensors and science, or sensors and engineering, I believe. And
This is engineering.
the difficulty of this is going to be because of the way it's being done. It's not being sit there. It would be 2. That would add another difficulty onto it. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to say it's spending 2 threat. That's difficulty 4. And also it's going to be, it would be, what's it called? Complication range of 2, but I'm spending another threat to make it complication range of 3 as well.
Man.
So difficulty 4, complication range 3.
All right.
Take an extra
Well,
momentum,
does
James,
that
at least
affect
one more.
my?
I was
Does
thinking.
that affect Sato as well?
Well, it would
Complication
just
range,
be,
yeah.
the complication range would be the same for everyone, so everyone has the same range. Yeah. So, but you're only rolling 1 die. Drake's only rolling 1 die, and currently James would be rolling 2 dice unless you want to buy extra. And
Please.
okay, we're taking the.
You got a
low-
complication. Please roll an extra momentum, James.
I'm thinking of 2 extra momentum. 2 extra dice.
2 extra dice. Okay, all with momentum
So-
or with threat and momentum.
So let's go 1 threat, 2 momentum.
1 threat, 2 momentum. Okay, 1 threat comes back, 2 momentum.
Which gives 4 dice.
4 dice, okay.
And I'm assuming you're okay with, I've got the focus of transporters and replicators.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. You haven't rolled, have you yet, Drake?
No, I'll go next, and then we'll see how much we need.
Okay.
We need a lot.
Oh no!
I told you.
Oh,
Okay.
4.
You got all 4. You got all 4. There we go.
Got 2 complications though.
All right. So here we go. Here we go. Okay. Drake's squat down. He has his rock. Looks over at James. Gives a nod. Chucks that thing as hard as he can up into the air, into the transporter chamber. James, you just deftly lock onto it with the transporter. There is a loud smack, and like this wave of electricity crackles down around the transporter pad just at the moment that the rock disappears. And we'll just say for the first complication, you have a cracked transporter pad that is going to prevent any other transports until that thing is repaired, which might take a little bit of time. For the second complication, let's just say that nothing changes outside. Nothing changes that you can tell. But then a rock comes flying at high speed and punches a hole through the viewport of the shuttle, as if somebody fired it from a cannon.
What?
The spinning momentum of the rock going up when it transported, it changed its direction and it just fired straight at you from the sky. So, just because it was such a crazy thing, I want to have a crazy result with your 2 things. However, the momentum made no change. There were no teleportation, no transports, but you're all damaged now.
Don't know if it was worth it, guys. Do we have spare windows?
Again, you got repair kits in there. You got ways of fixing these things, at least for like holes in shuttles and that. But you caused quite a mess.
it was. So I can just picture it. You know, we're all kind of looking at this rock that's just come through the window, and James just turns to Drake, who's probably sort of getting a bit at the moment, like,
yeah.
And she goes, it was worth it because we do know now the rock went past the point where the probes didn't.
Yay. Fix the window, please, because we can't leave without it. Oh, dear.
Ooh.
Oh.
I wonder if we transport a probe past.
Well, we're going to have to fix it first. That's an idea to do when we fix it.
I really want to see Drake actually try and toss a probe now as well.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I kind of don't, because when I rolled the complication, I just imagined Bill giving me, like, when Drake did this, he threw out his back and is now lying on the floor in pain. Everything I do moving wise is now complication.
I was considering if maybe like your like forward momentum got your hand caught in the transporter beam and you lost your hand.
I thought of that as well, but I didn't want to mention that.
We just lock eyes. Lock eyes here. Just no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Just well, damn.
Break some technology instead, please. Okay, so yeah, the transporter pad is cracked. There is a hole in the window. Nothing major. Again, easy enough to repair. Just will take time. That could.
I mean, look, in theory, we can still fly with that. We just need EV suits as well.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah, but I'd rather not have a hole in the window.
Yeah.
So, whilst we're fixing everything, we'll let the other guys know, and maybe you can go back to the DeGrasse Tyson while we fix
So
before we kill ourselves.
I just wanted the result as wacky as the plan, so I apologize for that. But
So,
It's fine. It's funny as
so if we can find the DeGrasse Tyson again,
hmm
we could teleport a probe outside and use that as a relay for transporting.
if we can transport the probe, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
And if we can find the DeGrasse Tyson.
And if we can find the DeGrasse, well, the DeGrasse Tyson's probably going to have to find us. Might be a lot of jumps with all the asteroids that there were.
I mean, we could keep jumping until we find it.
I don't know how many probes we've got.
surely don't have a ton. Okay.
How many do we have? That would be a standard number as well, right? For a shuttlecraft.
Yeah, technically, usually shuttles only have just a few because you don't normally need that many when you go out. So we could say there's probably at least going to be one or two more.
Okay.
Right. And
Bull, can I?
Yeah.
Sorry, can I check like with all these the antics going on here? Like, was there any readings or anything of the radiation at all?
no, Fox monitoring everything. There was nothing that flared, nothing that spiked. The only signal you detect was the signal of the transporter.
Do our sensors actually reach beyond whatever this sort of line or barrier is? Like, can we detect anything past that at all, or?
You can, but it's all distorted because of the subspace interference in the area. So, you can scan outside the atmosphere, but it's just the same as it was before you all got onto the planet. It's just there's so much interference that it's hard to get clear readings.
Okay, thanks.
One thing before we do shift scene, we've been scanning the sky. That's a weird thing to think. Would that also have included a snapshot of what we can see, like the stars and the moons and everything?
Oh yeah, I would imagine so, that when you get a reading of that, you would have at least in the records showing that where it basically detected these points of light or even any objects it can detect within its range. So I would imagine that wouldn't be difficult information to get.
Okay, then whilst James and Fox are fixing everything, Drake would like to see if he can use those sorts of images and the images that would be in the shuttle based on what we saw whilst we were on the DeGrasse Tyson, to see if he can kind of figure out anything like where we're moving, how far we're moving and whatnot.
Okay, then you'll get to work on that. And also before we shift scenes, when you're going back to look at the readings, you pass by Lieutenant Thadagia, who is sitting at one of the stations. Also, he's poring over the data from the radiation. There's little fragments of broken windscreen on his uniform, but he doesn't seem perturbed by that. As you go walking to your station, he turns and calls you over, says, "Lieutenant, may I have a word with you for a moment?"
Yes, of course. What's wrong, Lieutenant?
I was just looking at these readings from the radiation that we detected every time we seem to jump locations. I can't say for certain without having a database to compare it to, but I believe I've seen readings similar to this before.
Where? Is this something we've encountered recently, or?
No, not on the DeGrasse Tyson, but on one of my first assignments here in the Shackleton Expanse, when I was serving aboard the Bellerophon. We encountered a world that was basically shaking itself apart. And, well, the details of that mission are still a little difficult for me to go into detail about, but we went deep into some caverns inside the core of this world, and we discovered that there was a technology far beyond what we have in Starfleet. And this technology has been, or had been up until that time, maintaining the stability of the planet. We believe it was to transport it through the galaxy, similar to a starship. But this ancient technology had been breaking down, and the malfunction was causing the planet to tear itself apart. As I said, the technology was far beyond what we know, and the readings suggested kinds of radiation and power source that we do not have access to, nor do any of the polities that we deal with here in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. But if my memory is correct, a lot of the readings and the EMF spikes match what I'm seeing on the screen here.
So you believe this could have been a similar planet to what you discovered before that was designed to be transported. However, this is the later effects of that breakdown?
I can't say for sure, but the only thing I'm thinking is that whoever or whatever created the planet from my mission on the Bellerophon may also have created this area of space here.
Is there anything you can tell us from that time that would help us right now?
Unfortunately, it would appear a lot of that information has been classified by Starfleet, and sadly, I also ended up receiving my discommendation on that mission. So even if they were to make me privy to that information, I was no longer in the good graces of my superiors.
Well, thank you very much for telling me. And let's hope we can get off of here.
Agreed. Okay, we'll take that. It's about time for our 10-minute break, so we'll stop there. When we come back, I would like to be back with Alder on the DeGrasse Tyson, as well as anyone else who wants to jump into a supporting character, and see if there's any idea from the DeGrasse Tyson's point of view on how to track down the asteroid. Okay?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
All right, so 10-minute break. I'll pause the recording and see you in a few. Yay. All right, so we are back from our commercial break. It's a scene change. We are back on the DeGrasse Tyson, so that last point of momentum goes away because the scene has shifted. So we are now at seventh threat, 0 momentum right now. Lieutenant Darius Alder has called together a meeting of some experts on from different departments on the ship, so they could brainstorm an idea of how to find the asteroid where the missing away team is on, and that's where we resume there. I guess, Alder, you could set the stage.
Okay, so I'm looking at everything, and Tila included, of course, and I'm saying, okay, I've got a few ideas, but at the same point, I think our main focus here is like to figure out a couple of questions: is what causes these shifts, and how do we track down the Sartor and the crew? Because obviously they have now shifted somewhere, from what we can tell. Our only evidence is this broken probe. And like the other thing is, can we get anything of use from this probe to track them down? My first idea is, I'm sure Drake would be firing off other probes. They don't have many, but I'm sure that would be something they'd be doing. So I wish we could track down the signature of these destroyed probes and somehow follow them that way. This like breadcrumb trail they'd leave. But I'm welcome to ideas from all of you. If anyone has anything to add or suggest.
Also, if
I
you are going to be a supporting character, please introduce who you are for the camera in case people don't know, since it's definitely not Drake or James in the scene.
So I will be playing Diel Morgant.
Sure, that's how he pronounces it.
It is now, I've
Yeah.
decided. It's Diel Morgant. Engineer, human engineer ensign. So I think that the breadcrumb idea is a good plan to try and track and trace. You're right, they only have so many probes, and once that runs out, if they teleport, we're not going to be able to find anything further. So I think looking for a pattern, or in particular to have a very good scan of the asteroid that has appeared before us to see if there's anything different about it compared to what's surrounding. If there's anything special about the asteroids that do teleport, then perhaps we can at least narrow down our search.
That sounds like a good way to start. Bull,
Yes, sir.
could I ask what was the status of the transporters on the Grace Tyson?
Transporters are fine. It's just the subspace disturbance in this area is so strong that it's way too risky to use them. It would be far too dangerous to use them to beam down onto or off of the surfaces, because far too much could go wrong.
Okay. All right. Alder looks towards Brooks and says, "Brooks, anything to add? Any ideas from your side?"
First of all, Brooks is human female nurse, obviously working in sick bay. Not at this time. I mean, I would assume that the scanners have already tried looking for life signs.
Currently, nothing we can detect from what I can see. But definitely, I think maybe one idea we can do is if we're able to somehow map out the asteroid fields and see if we can see if there's a pattern, if we recognize asteroids that we may have seen in a different location. How far have they shifted by? Is there a pattern to how they are shifting each time? And of course, like I've got to ask my good friend Talaria, like any ideas from your side, kind sir?
Oh, I'm glad you waited to ask me last, even though I'm the only official scientist in this lab. It does make sense that you put a importance order on. I'm sorry, I haven't even seen you two in this room before, but I suppose that you're top scientists in your fields. Nice to meet you. What is your name? Diel? Is that it? I never even heard of that name before. But welcome to the lab. Don't introduce yourself to me or anything. But anyhow, if I may get to the point, as you were saying, Alder, he sips a cup of coffee that Alder and he whipped up before the two of you came down to the lab. As I was saying, or as you were saying, monitoring these disappearances, you had me keeping an eye on the readings that we've been picking up just passively in the scans. Of course, sensors are not picking up too much with all the interference, but we can tell if you look, and he goes over to monitor, if you look at this snapshot we have here of the field before us, compared to this one at timestamp 028.5, this dot and this dot, the luminosity is slightly different from slide to slide, while the other ones, I should say, are all identical, which suggests a different mass in that place. So I believe, for whatever reason, these two dots here have swapped out. And if you look at this timestamp, he goes on again to multiple ones and keeps pointing out random tiny dots in the distance, and with his very, very technical readings showing why he suggests that every now and then just these asteroids are just randomly changing places with each other.
So there's no pattern to these changes. Like, I mean, this asteroid, I point to one is shown as before, and this one could swap just as well as this one and this one. There's no pattern of like this one always, goes back to point A, back to point B, back to point A, and so on and so forth.
Well, it doesn't look like these are the same ones moving around. If you look here, this one seems to have swapped with something else to be here. But then if you look at this one with the change in its density and luminosity, doesn't match the one that vanished the moment before. So it appears to be a completely different one. So with just such a limited data set, I can't say if there is or is not a pattern. But with thousands of asteroids to work with and only a handful having swapped within the past couple of hours, I would say I cannot see a pattern.
And in terms of, as Morgan put it, in terms of the asteroid that's in front of us now that swapped out with the one the Sato was on, is there anything remarkable about it that you've been able to discover, or are we just looking at a big inert piece of rock ahead of us? Yeah.
As far as I can tell, just by looking at it from the outside, there's nothing remarkable, but with how just interfering the subspace is in this area, I don't know if I could get a good reading unless we got much, much closer to it or we landed on it.
I don't know whether landing on any of these asteroids is actually a good idea after
Well,
what
I
we've seen
wasn't
with
going to
Sato.
volunteer for it, so I wasn't going. I was saying if one of you wanted to land on it.
Well, I mean, if there are any volunteers, of course, but I don't think any of us are too willing to attempt that just yet.
Would have to agree. Landing on something that could teleport doesn't seem like a good idea at the moment.
And yet a whole crew of you did.
Before we realized it was teleporting, yes.
Are we able to, I'm speaking to the room in general now, are we able to actually find the supposed breadcrumb of like destroyed probes or remnants of probes or anything that may have actually been launched from the Sato? Because I feel like there's no, our first thing should be to find the Sato and then figure out how to get them off the asteroid as such. And our only evidence so far is just these remnants of that first probe. Are we able to actually find anything else?
And we
were. Go on.
Well, I was just wondering if we fire out probes to the edge of our sensors and use the probe to extend the range of the sensors and try to do a bit of a map of where we are. I mean, we've got a large area, but we could start mapping at least the little area we know a bit better.
I think that's a good idea. I think even Talar himself would be pleased with such a suggestion.
Oh, did she say something? I wasn't listening.
Going further on that, actually, when we were scanning on our way in to find the original beacon, there were only so many asteroids or planetoids that had life on them that we were able to detect, if I'm remembering correctly. So that would also narrow down our search range in regarding to finding the Sato. Plus, as well, again, there wasn't much artificial material. The reason we found the probe is that, and that there was something on that asteroid, is that we saw that there was artificial materials. So using both of those, we should be able to narrow down the asteroids where the Sato could be, as well as the location of the probe should be a bit more prominent, seeing as there's not much getting in the way beyond the interference that's happening. Just to help narrow down what we're looking at.
I mean, I think that's definitely a workable plan. I think we go ahead with that, launch a series of probes, try and map out the area we're in, try and detect any other planets that have these biomes present on them, and then hopefully that narrows it down to a point where we can find out where the SOTA's gone and then take it from there. So
I think
Morgan,
continuing.
I
was just going to say, I think continuing monitoring the luminosity and density that Tala has been doing will also potentially, hopefully, provide some really good results if we can find some sort of pattern over time.
Perfect. I think I'll help Tala on that. I would appreciate it, Morgan, if you would be able to actually work on the probes, and if Brooks could help out with the mapping as such, and then work on it from there, narrow down our scope.
That's why you brought me here.
Tala, all good on your side as well? Are we good to go?
Yeah, I figure since I always start with the luminosity and everything, it'll just be fine if I continue with that. And now that you've deigned to help me, I suppose that'll make me move about maybe half as fast as I could on my own, but at least I'll have coffee the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll have your scintillating conversations, so I'm sure, you know, we get something, we both get something from this.
He just shrugs.
Well, I think that's probably our plan.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. So mapping the probes. So we're going to we'll do a I don't think we need to do like any like a challenge or anything like that because it seems like a pretty straightforward plan to me. It would just be more or less coming up with a plan of how to map, but also finding a way to make sure the signal is strong enough that you're reading the data with all the interference here. I think those are the only two challenges to worry about, truly. So basically, what's it called? Reconfiguring the probes to enhance their transmission or their sensitivity, and also creating a good design for the web you're trying to cast. So I think a two-part role like that would be good. You could either do it as two separate roles, or you could do it as one role with an assist. So what would the plan be?
Let's go with two roles.
Two roles? Okay, so who is taking the lead on that?
Let's see. I think reconfiguring the probes, that would be Morgan's taking the lead on that, I'd assume. Seeing that was what I'd actually sort of assigned him and Brooks to do. Then I suppose me and Talar would actually be working on that, the actual mapping for this whole sort of scan and data we'd be getting to sort of create this web or this network of asteroids and track how they're moving and that.
Okay.
And if we can sort of map it out, yeah.
So James, do you want to assist on the probe thing? You could, I guess we could assume, since you're more or less scanning for life and biological signatures, that's where your medical expertise could come into play.
Yep. I have a weird question.
Yeah.
So I don't think this has ever come up in a track. I don't think.
A lot of things in this episode has never come up in track. So yeah, just keep going.
If there's a starship that's powered, so a Starfleet vessel that's powered up,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it would be, I guess, constantly broadcasting a form of signal, like, so other vessels, other Starfleet vessels would go, oh, there's a ship over there, there's a ship over there, for its own database kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could we configure, because we've got the shuttle that's out there,
Mm-hmm.
could we configure a probe that doesn't have to look for specific metals or specific life signs or something like that? Even though the signals are weak in here, all it needs to do is pick up a brief, hey, I'm a Starfleet vessel kind of signal, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that's possible. I think usually, from what it seems like in Star Trek, when the ships are operating, like when they're out there flying through the galaxy, they are giving off like a transponder signal, so it pops on everyone's radar, like this ship is here, this ship is there, there's a Ferengi ship here, blah 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 blah. It's more for like basically traffic, and figuring out the logistics of where ships are going so they don't crash into each other. If the shuttle is on the planet, I think they would have to have it powered up and transmitting, and then um, it would be easy to identify. But if it was just like the shuttle parked inside of the ship or powered down, then probably would not have that transponder going.
That's fair.
So if the crew on the asteroid powers up and just sends the signal going, broadcast it constantly, it might not be the best for power because they don't know how long they're going to be on that asteroid, but it would at least be a way to get that signal going out.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
All right, we'll continue with the plan as conceived.
Okay, so let's just start with the first plan with the probes. To do that, so Morganth, you are taking the lead on that. So I'm assuming that is just going to be a what's it called? A control and engineering role, correct?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Does that sound good for you? And
Mhm.
with Ensign Brooks assisting you, you're trying to do. Brooks, are you still going to be helping with like biological data that you're looking for these specific species, these kind of people, so or these types of life readings to help filter out ones that would clearly not be sentient life forms, or are you intending something else?
I think that makes the most sense.
Okay.
It would be probably the harder one to do because
Yeah.
humanoid life signs would be trickier to find, but I can't think of anything specifically that would make that easier to locate out, the people.
Okay. Then in that case, you will be supporting with, I think, reason and medicine would probably be the most applicable combination. Do you agree?
Yep.
And you know what? Since there is, you know what? I think, yeah, we're going to do this instead because you're not just firing out one probe. You're going to be doing this in different directions and possibly even changing location with the ship to widen the net eventually if you're not going to move right away. So I think it might be better to have this represented as an extended task to see if like closing down the area until you get a ping that will help you. Does that make sense for you?
Makes sense.
All right, so it's going to be let me just whip up an extended task right quick here. So the usual thing that you are doing, David, would be difficulty of 1, but also the what's it called, the additions that Brooks is going to make to scan specifically for those life forms will bump up the difficulty to 2, and although it doesn't have anything to do with the transmission yet, because that's going over it, I'm also going to spend on 2 threat to bump it up to difficulty 3 for the time being. So,
Oh, mean.
difficulty. I'm adding the complication of, or trait or complication, however you want to call it, of just vast search area. So you don't know which direction you should be searching first and spreading your net out from there, so that will make the difficulty. So difficulty of 3 base for right now. Let's see, magnitude of this is going to be a 3, and we're going to give this a work track of, let's put it to 15 because it's large, but I don't want to go beyond 15. How's that? Right now, currently no, what's the thing called? The resistance. No resistance on there yet, because we don't need that. So resistance of 0. Okay.
Cool.
All right, so that would be you're the lead, and Brooks is going to support with a single die. Difficulty 3, are you going to buy more dice? Do you have anything that applies?
Yes, seeing as this is Morgant's return, the reason he was called here is because he has quite a lot of experience and a focus in probes. So probe modification and creation, so that's why he's here.
Okay.
Did you say we had momentum left or not?
We do not right now. There's currently 5 threat and 0
Then
momentum.
I'll add 1 dice worth of threat.
What a nice guy.
Gives me 3.
Okay.
And we've got the 4th dice from the support roll. So yeah, we'll be rolling 4 total. Hopefully should be enough.
Focus
Complication
on
range of just 1.
Complication range just 1.
Lovely. Now this isn't Drake, so I shouldn't roll poorly. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad. No. You got 3. You got what you need, and we're still getting 1 more roll coming in.
Come
We
on.
get focuses
Yeah, support
for
will still
assisting.
get focus. Yes.
So biology, xenobiology would be okay then?
I would say yes.
Okay. And task roll 1, and off it goes.
Boom.
1. So you gain 1 momentum into the pool. And now remember, it's an extended task, so this just allows you to roll work, because we are still using 1st edition up until next episode. So we're still on 1st edition for extended task. So what is your engineering score?
4.
4. So 6 challenge dice. Please roll that.
6. Roll. 1, 2, 3, and an effect. Sorry, 4 and an effect.
Okay, so that's 5 actually. We'll take off, and there's no resistance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 out of 15, which is good. And it's also 5 in the row because of no resistance, which means you do get 1 breakthrough already. So you are efficiently covering. That's a breakthrough equals 1. So difficulty goes down 2. So you are covering a good swath of space already. Your plan is going out, and your net is being cast well, but still no hits. No hits that you were doing. So let's go over to Alder and Talar. So Alder and Talar, you are trying to map out the area. Is that correct?
Yes, we're trying to sort of map out that area, and at the same point, sort of analyzing the movement of these planets to see if there is anything worth, of interest in their movements or not.
Okay. And utilizing the luminosity data that Talar was giving, we'll have him assist you. So you are taking the lead on this, and we'll say with the data that you're having here, this is difficulty of 2, and if you succeed at this, we'll say it will grant a bonus to the next attempt at the
Worth track.
Thank you. Well, extended task, yeah. So everything goes. So it'll grant a bonus towards that to make their job easier. So that's what you will be doing. So difficulty of 2. This would more or less be a reason or insight and science roll.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, let's do reason and science. Well, I don't know if I can use my focus of puzzle solver, because I said that it was use logic to solve puzzles or problems. I'm not sure if this qualifies though as a
That sounds
puzzle
good
or
to
problem.
me. That's a focus, you said?
Yes. It's one of oh, so it's a value.
It's a value. Well, if you want to spend it as a value, yeah, you could spend your determination, use the value, you would get 2 successes automatically. So pretty much guaranteed to pass it. and grant the thing, and then
Makes sense then. Why don't I?
and then why not? And then your roll would just basically be granting extra momentum.
Might as well.
Okay.
As always, I always double check with your complication range of
The complication range is going to be 1. And hang on, which value was that again? Alder.
puzzle solver.
Okay. Value puzzle solver. Okay. Puzzle solver. Okay. There we go.
I've used it back in the day. Task roll of 2, and then that's good to go, right?
That's good to go. You know you've already succeeded, so you're good with that. There we go.
Hey, there we go.
And 2 more momentum on that. So yeah. So you succeeded on it, which means you are going to give a you're going to grant what is it? Like a no complication, what's the opposite? An advantage.
Advantage.
Thank you. Advantage of I guess what could we call the advantage? Like detailed examination on the results. So advantage of that, and you gained 2 more momentum, bringing you up to 3. So you could spend that right now if you want to create another advantage or do something else with it, or you could bank it into the pool.
Bank it for now, I think.
Okay, so up to 3. So we'll stop there for the time being with this part, because like this is something that takes time, sending out the probes and mapping the area and things like that. So we'll resume with the ship later to do the next roll, but for now we'll go back to the planet to see if there's any other plan that wants to go that way that might affect the roll that will come up next on the search. How's that? So
sounds good.
Back to, if I could find where the planet is. All right, back to the asteroid. There we go. All right, so Drake, one more time, you want to remind me what you were looking at on the sensors?
So it was to kind of like the olden days where you'd map the stars to see where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same thing, given the we now have at least 3 different skies to look at to see if it matches anything in what the shuttle's database contains, to try and match, to see if I can roughly shape out where we are now within that field.
That's a very, very good idea. So how do I want to do this, since things seem to be moving randomly, but we want to see if the chance is that there's any kind of random. So what I will have you do is, why don't you roll one challenge die. 1 challenge die, and if you roll an effect, that will trigger something.
I don't like this. Come on, Drake. Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so the 3 or so jumps that the asteroid has made, you're not finding anything that lines up in with each other. So you seem to be sent to 3 distinctly different parts of this asteroid field.
So I'm not able to do any sort of triangulation.
With this set of data, no. Possibly if there's more jumps, yes.
Okay.
More jumps, you say?
Speaking of which, let's launch a probe.
Meanwhile, I'll say that probably everybody's milling about right now, since the plan has kind of been put on hold since the transporters were done. So no more of that. Just comparing data, and that, so basically crews of both groups can be anywhere and doing anything. But the Prime Scholar comes up to you, Lieutenant James, as I imagine you're still mucking around on the ship, trying to get things fixed up, or
Probably fixing the transporter first.
Okay, that makes sense. While you're doing that, she comes over to you He said, "Hi, I don't really want to bother you because I see how hard you're all working to get us off this planet. I just wanted to ask about your transporter.
Yeah.
What exactly is your plan with the transporter? I mean, I saw you break it with the rock earlier, but what exactly
I mean,
were you
technically
doing?
that was Drake.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm not sure exactly the plan of throwing the rock back at us through the transporter, but I know there's a lot of planning going on that I'm not privy to, and I'm fine with that. I would just like to confirm you're not intending on using the transporter to get us off of here?
I can't guarantee not, but I mean, it's unsafe generally speaking. So it just depends on the conditions by which we find ourselves at any particular time. I mean, right at this point in time, if our ship appeared above our heads, then transport would probably not be wise. That being said, flying out of here seems to be problematic.
Problematic, yes. I would agree with that. However, if we can find a way to fly out of here, that would be preferable.
Agreed.
I know you visited my world, or your ship has visited my world in the past, and you may know how we feel about transporters being used on us. And if I, as a Prime Scholar, were to be transported, then that would pretty much be the end of my leadership, and I would not want someone like my rival to uh, be in that position to hold that against me, especially with the changes I'm trying to implement in my society.
I see.
Ask her what she means. I don't remember.
Who said that?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
I wasn't lucky enough to be to see your planet, and I was on board the ship.
Oh, it's a beautiful world. If we get off of here, you are more than welcome to return as my guest.
That would be amazing. I would certainly love to see your planet, and meet with your people. Yes, at this point, I agree with you. Leaving here in a shuttle is by far the preferred option. And now knowing your reluctance with transporters, we will try and work out a way around that. Most of my tests have been just to see if there's a way. The rock specifically was a test of what will trigger the move. Now, I mean, admittedly, still we don't fully know, but the rock didn't trigger a shift, so it's at least rules a few things out.
Well, that's good.
Sadly, it did cause a few problems.
She looks at the hole in the view screen, or the front glass, I should say. And nods at you.
I didn't take into account the movement on its return journey.
Well,
Just its movement on its upward trajectory.
well, all's well that ends well, correct? So that's a good thing. So no problem there, no harm, no foul. We're good.
But I think we'll find a way out of here.
That is good to hear. I understand if you're not able to get my own craft back into flying condition, that's fine with me. If you don't mind dropping me off back with my people. But yes, just if you could be so kind as to come up with a plan or a way to get this shuttle back off without using your transporter.
Out of character, James had a quick look at the shuttle last time.
Yep.
I know it wasn't an in-depth check.
Mm-hmm.
It was cursory, sort of quick look at it. Does it look as though her shuttle is repairable, or is it a write-off? Like,
yeah, I would say that it probably could be repaired. It would be to do proper repairs would probably be time intensive, and it would still be hodgepodge if you didn't have the right equipment there. She's just definitely not equipped to do it or trained to repair that level of damage by herself. So
Alright.
it's possible, but you wouldn't have it like in brand new shape for it to take off.
I'd probably, while I'm doing this, have gotten Fox to start on it at least, like fix what's easily fixable.
Okay.
It's probably better to having two shuttles that work, one as a backup just in case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll get Fox on that. Well, probably ask Drake if that's okay, and you know, get him to do that if Drake agrees.
Drake does agree. He just asks, can he fix the window first, as it's better to have one completely working shuttle than two half-working ones.
Yes, that's fine. James sort
Thank
of
you.
walks off with grumbling that we can still fly without the window.
Of course you can. She's a hologram. She doesn't need
Doesn't
air.
affect me, John.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Any other idea? Any other plan that you want to discuss here?
I actually do want to do the weather balloon style thing.
Okay.
So a balloon filled with, I think they use helium, could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That will just slowly float its little way up. Because I'm curious as to whether, actually I would like to do two.
Mm-hmm.
One that has, we'll weigh it down with rocks, not much weight, but some weight, and one that's metal. I would like to see if it's a speed thing that's triggering it,
Mm-hmm.
or metal, or try and get an idea of what's triggering the atmospheric change or the transporty change.
Okay.
Obviously, all are not going up at the same time, because that negates the test. It'll be like, let the one with rocks slowly float up. And if it gets past the point where we think the transport should have happened, then send the one with bits of metal on it.
Okay.
Do we want to do that before or after we launch, transport the probe?
Oh yeah, there was that idea too. Well, I need to fix the transporter, so those two I can do beforehand. So partway through fixing the transporter, she goes, "Oh, I wonder," and goes off, replicates some stuff, sends the two probes up one after the other, and then goes back to fixing the transporter.
Okay. All right. Goes back to that. Fox, you're working on repairing the Zilzik ship. Is there anything else you want to contribute to a possible escape attempt, or any idea you have to share?
No, I think I'm probably going to be fixing that window ASAP so Drake doesn't throw any rocks at me.
Yeah, I definitely got to avoid that. Definitely got to avoid that. Okay. Well then I know exactly what I'll do then. Taking a look there. Drake, one last thing while you're doing that. Anything?
Oh, no, with my triangulation plan out the window, I'm mostly just looking over any data to see if there's anything I can find, but nothing special.
All right. So, James, you got the 2 weather balloons going up in the sky, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then
One after the other,
one
not
after
at the same
other.
time.
Yeah. Okay, and then Fox is working on the shuttle, and Drake is going over the data just to see if there's any help there. Let's see. Meanwhile, Thedaggia will come back in. He's been out of the shuttle for a while. He left just examining the life forms that were populating this little asteroid. And he comes back in and goes directly to you, Drake, as you are in command of this away team. Lieutenant, I discovered something of interest out just past the tree line.
Anything to be concerned about?
I wouldn't say concerned, but I did find what looks like the entrance to a cave. And if you recall my story from earlier, it was deep down in caverns on the planet when I was on the Bellerophon, where we found the technology of whichever species created that world. I didn't delve too far down on my own because I don't know what to expect in there, but it was reminding me of the same type of caverns and corridors that we encountered as we ventured down into the bowels of that other world. And I was just wondering if perhaps that might lead us to whatever technology is responsible for doing this.
That is a very good find, Lieutenant. Let's you and I prepare what you believe we'll need for such an expedition based off of your experience previously. And then once we finish our next few tests, and there's no chance of any, well, there's always a chance of transporting, but nothing that we trigger, at least, so that we are less likely to get separated, we'll then make an expedition into the caverns.
Understood. He goes into the back to get prepared with some items. Meanwhile, what I will do then is I'll spend 2 threat and Fox over in the other vessel. One of the consoles as you're repairing it starts beeping. It's the sensor console that you were manning earlier.
Okay, I'm running over there immediately to see what's up.
Okay, with the sensors, you've had the sensors on max, scanning the area for all the different like tests that have been going on. You're not getting anything strange out of the sky, but you're detecting low levels of that radiation, that unique, unusual, definite alien radiation. Unlike before, where it would just come in a flash and everything change, this one, it's very low level, but it is growing exponentially.
I'm immediately calling Lieutenant James. Lieutenant James, I think you might want to come and have a look here as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure. What's the matter?
The radiation that's usually always blipping on when we shift in space, it's building up. This is the first time I've seen this. I'm not sure exactly what this means, but I think it's not going to be good.
Okay, out of character, where was I at with the balloons?
The balloons,
Had they launched?
Oh yeah, you said you launched them, right?
Okay.
Okay, yes. The first one is still heading up into the atmosphere. The second one is trailing down below, of course. But they have not reached the point yet that the probes have gone to.
All right. I will quickly go to the. It was the Zulzik shuttle that he was in, correct?
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay,
you run out, go running across the grasslands over to the other shuttle. You glance up into the sky. You see like the dots of your balloons getting higher and higher as it is. Are you carrying anything?
I would.
A simple question. I'm just trying to
That's why
visualize
it's
the
scary.
scene. Just trying to visualize the scene
It's-
in my head. That's all.
GM questions are never simple nor.
I'm a curious man. What can I say?
I would imagine just standard in tricorder. She's just going over to read some sensors, so probably not even her toolkit.
Okay.
Just her tricorder,
Tricorder. Okay, just
which would be in
tricorder.
its little tricorder pouch.
Tricorder pouch. Okay, so you start jogging over to the Zilzik ship, and spending 2 threat, by the way. You kick something for a second, and it goes skittering across the grass, tumbling its way to the Zilzik ship. And when you look down, you see that it was a tricorder, and it's the one that was on your hip just a moment ago.
Oh, sugar.
And Fox, you're looking at the machine, and just when the radiation again exponentially building, and it spikes, it hits the exact level that it was every time of a shift. There is another shift. Everyone notices the skies change completely, and Megan James blinks out of existence for a second, and we're going to commercial break as she fades away. So we're going to stop here tonight. We have to stop earlier tonight due to unfortunate health circumstances in my household. But I want to thank the 3 of you for being here. I think our next game is scheduled for August something or other. So hopefully that will be the end of this episode. We got at least 2 or 3 good plans on the way to see what works. So we're narrowing down a conclusion, so we'll see how it actually concludes then. But want to thank you all for joining us, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.
See y'all.